peripheral computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.
Hello, hello. Hello all. I'm just rebalancing my sound settings, so do let me know if I need to turn the music up or down, or, well, I've cranked my mic as high as it can go. I need to start tweaking the sensitivity. It does have so much better quality when the settings are just right, but OBS does tend to brick it a little bit. But hi, how's it all going? How are you all? I'll give I saw a few people in chat were off to get drinks, so I'll give them a chance to filter their way in. No coffee, pun intended. How are we all doing? Yeah, I know I'm a little bit tinny. It's a bit unusual, so OBS's sensitivity is... It kind of plays around with my mic, so my mic sounds great when I'm recording just pure voice stuff, and then the second I put it vaguely on my desk for OBS. It just goes a little tinny for some reason, but it will do for streaming. And it sounds much, much better when I do the old patented blanket technique. So for the latest video, it was all recorded underneath a blanket. I've been better, says that rope human. Yes, keep the coffee puns going. And hi, Mr. Gray. Hi, how's it going? Great to see you all. No, really, I'm good. Just an excuse for another coffee pun. Yeah, absolutely. I do love me a good pun, so you're all fine. Right. Yeah, just a little mini one today, just because I was going to make a community. I think I did make a community post and then decided to, just delete it. Not because I was worried about oversharing, but just I didn't want to. If you read back on my community posts, I'm always 100% grateful, but sometimes you worry if you express it all the time, you might come across as sycophantic, I suppose. I don't know. It's genuine, but it doesn't always come across that way. But it's been just lots of work stuff, some health stuff. I've got an autoimmune condition, as I've said before, so it's just been a bit tiring. So I just thought I'd hop on for a little bit and just see how everyone's doing. Hopefully well. Stumper says, I'm happy that I woke up and get to watch this. Oh, thank you, Stumpers. That means a lot. Thank you. And more coffee puns in the chat. I love it. Oh, good stuff. Yeah. Well, on the bright side, this mic does seem to pick up a lot less static, which is great. And as I've said before, when I'm in a proper recording setup that's not my echoey little room, it does sound much, much better. I just need to get there's some good like filter post-processing stuff, and I just need to play around with that. Okay, so what I'm just going to do today is, obviously just feel free to chat. We're just going to chill out for a bit. You can ask some questions about anything. Doesn't have to be Golden Bone related. And I'm going to be working on just a little bit more line art. For this, I'm kind of playing around with some shapes here. Which is I'm very hyped about the new Hades game, and I decided that I really wanted to design a character. Now, I've designed some characters before, but my Arachne has now been usurped, as it were, because I believe Arachne is now appearing in the next game. So I decided to design a new character, which is Macaria. And for those of you who are unfamiliar, wow, my tablet settings are terrible. Why is this being... It's very sensitive. This is a good test for my pen. Macaria is supposedly one of the other children of Hades. Also, the child is she shares a name with one of Hercules' daughters, or his one daughter, I believe. But there are two mythological figures called Macaria. And Macaria has been known as like the goddess of blessed death, but what that means has been debated. There's been a few interpretations of what that could mean based on culture. My interpretation is like martyrs or people who died for a good cause, that sort of thing. That felt like a nice insert. So that is who we are drawing. Oh, I am currently trying to do just some very chill line art of today, not a ton. The Hades art style is just so great with its use of shadows and blacks, and I'm trying to emulate that. I've got a nice little vision board here. Sorry to flashbang you all. Lots of close-ups of faces, lots of skull close-ups, just to see how they do skulls. I've been like zooming in and seeing how scrungly I can get away with being. But I just love this game so much. And as I said, because I've been a bit just under the weather and a bit tired recently, I just decided it'd be fun to fiddle-faddle around with something. The video is going to be more talking about all the cultural design elements and design influences than worry about me doing a speed drawing in one sitting. If I've not got the energy to do a speed drawing in one sitting, I'll just do it in bits and talk about it in the editing room. So that's my plan. That Rob Human, I inherited a house. Wow, congratulations, that's such a big thing. I love that for you. Oh, well done. You people in the chat who don't know that Rob Human, really you've always been such a delight over in the Patreon Discord. Can't imagine it happening to a nicer person. So amazing. I know you mentioned something along those lines, but I'll admit I've been away from the Discord a bit, so I wasn't sure if that was what you were alluding to. So amazing. I'm so happy for you. Misty Grey, my sleep schedule is going to be ruined. No, Misty Grey, you can always watch this later. Go get your beauty sleep, my dear. My lovely dear, go get your beauty sleep. Not that you need it, of course, but, you know, it's important. Someone says she's the OG Saint lol. Yeah, well, this is the thing, because Macaria, the Hercules / Heracles, depending on if you use the Western version. So I've got the hiccups. Oh dear, that's not a good thing. Let me see if I can suppress them. She did kind of basically die a martyr, which is why I find it really interesting that Macaria is considered blessed death, and some people interpret that as a goddess of martyrs, but undisputably Hades' child. I think that's a really great example of how ancient Greek history can kind of muddle and kind of, because there's so many retellings of the same story. So that really did influence my decision to go with the interpretation of her being the goddess of, or like a goddess who, not maybe the goddess of martyrs, but a goddess who oversees them when they come down to the underworld. That's the idea. She makes this place nice for them. Because Elysium is more for heroes in a fighty sense. You're talking like Achilles, Odysseus, all of that. And I can imagine her being very much like, people can die heroes in other ways. They can like die for causes they care about and stuff. So I can imagine her being like that. I actually did do a little color composition earlier. This is one where I really wanted to think about composition. So I did a bunch of sketches. You'll see more of these in the final video. But I did a bunch of little pose sketches until I found one that I liked. I liked the idea of her being very nurturing towards shades, and I wanted her to give the vibes of like that one kid who picks up a really sad, confused raccoon or a possum and is like, "Dad, I got a new dog, look," and no one has the heart to tell her to put it down because she's doing such a good job. And then I did a little colour thing. So this is the original line art. And I don't usually do colours until the end, and these colours will probably change. Like this arm, it's going to be sleeveless now and stuff. That's all going to change. But when the designs in Hades are just so... That's my references. I'll show this in a sec. The designs in Hades are so maximalist, and this beautiful balance of like, I mean, look at Hades, his like vibrant, he's got these greens and pinks, and yet the whole composition is so balanced. I kind of had to roughly guess where colours were going to go just so I could really start to think about composition. So I did a little bit of that. Let's close that. And then, oh, there's my backup layer. There's my little sign. I'll just put text so I can tell my layers apart. I've been very bad for them recently. That's a little reminder to myself. And then here's some of the reference images I've taken inspiration from. So this is from an anime film called Angel's Egg. And then these are some of the works of John Bauer, he's done a lot of Scandinavian folklore art. We've got kind of traditional dress, flowers in Greek mythology associated with death, black theta, which is considered a mark of death in Greek art. And then, I've forgotten the name of them, but these beautiful vases here, which were used in, I think, I believe, funeral rites. So I thought it would be fun if she was holding something, maybe almost looking like ambrosia, but basing it off of these beautiful, like death-related stuff. So getting lots of death in, but in a cheery way. I'm gonna make her skin grayer. I want her to take after her dad a little bit more. So that's the plan at the minute. Let me just check on the chat. Son of Noah says, hey, I'm the one who made the subreddit. Yes. Oh my gosh, hi. Great to have you here. Yes, so I was a friend of mine the other day, who's been very lovely and supportive of my channel, came across a fan subreddit that was still under construction for Golden Bone, which is really kind. And I'm very flattered. I went a little bit red when I first heard about it. So yes, do check it out if it's... I'd like to just kind of leave it in the hands of fans. When you do world building, you hope it sparks creativity in others, and I wouldn't want to meddle with that by then modding or owning that subreddit. If it's just a fun fan subreddit, I would really just love for you guys to congregate there, and I'll just nosy around. But you know, just a great idea, and I hope you guys get a lot of use out of it. Misty Grey, but I want to watch now. Oh, well, I can't force you. I will just say that if you feel very tired tomorrow, you know, the small Brit warned you. I've got my hands on my hips, being very sassy. More important, my workshop space just doubled. I was about to say that, Rob Human. It means that you've got, you know, so much more space to do some of your amazing work. If you guys haven't checked out my last video on the channel, in the credits I show a bunch of the work from our last monthly art challenge over on the Patreon Discord. And that Rob Human's, everyone's work was great, but specifically just in this context, I'm talking about his amazing 3D work that he did, so go check that out. That Rob Human says, I wonder if she is, what's the word, a cultural cognate to Val. Yeah, it would be interesting, wouldn't it? Macaria was associated with the kind of euphoria that only death can offer. She was kind of a beloved death. Yeah, absolutely. I do agree, Solo Solitaire. It's why some people have read the Blessed Death as almost like death for those who wanted it. You know, people who are like, you know what, I'm good, I don't want to suffer. And I think, you know, it's a delicate topic, but it's nice that they had a... In Greek mythology, it wasn't always necessarily that they were the god of something, they were just the god that oversaw something. Like Hades wasn't the god of death, he was just the guy who looked after the underworld and stuff. But some people have also read that as martyrs, and I thought making her specifically that of like people who died for a good cause, or people who, you know, died heroically but maybe not as a fighter, was just a nice way to pay homage to also Heracles' daughter. So I hope you guys will forgive my Hades-esque reimagining. And someone else has seen Angel's Egg. Amazing. RP Jeffrey, heyo folks, hi. Hex says, Dad, look at my new dog. His name is John the Baptist. Oh, brilliant. Yeah. Well, so here's the thing, and I would love to hear chat's opinion on this. So I've got this little sketch here of these little wings. And the reason is because I was like, maybe I can make this shade into a specific person. You know how they have, like, I think it's Dora is being advertised in the new Hades 2 as a shade, and that is, I'm assuming, Pandora, in the same way that Jusa probably, when she was alive, was Medusa, something like that. And there is a character, and I don't know if to spin it that way or not, because he was technically a child of a river god and a nymph. He's called Escalaphus, and depending on who you ask, he's the son of a river god called Arcanon and the nymph Orphne, and he looked after like Hades' pomegranate orchard, and when Persephone ate the pomegranate seeds, he like spilled the beans And Demeter, apparently, when he got to Demeter and was like, hey, Demeter, bad news, Persephone ate the pomegranate seeds. She was like, I'm so mad, I'm going to turn you into an owl. I think she buried him under a rock, and then Heracles found him, and then he just kind of got turned into an owl by Demeter out of spite. And then another one, I think it's Persephone, who's like, don't tell anyone, I'm going to turn you into an owl. And so I thought it might be kind of fun to maybe make this Scalaphus, or like, I don't know, because they do play around quite liberally with what's a nymph and what's a god and what is just the incarnation of something. Like, they made Eurydice like a nymph, and in lots of the interpretations of the myth, she is just a human. Maybe this doesn't need to 100% definitely be a Scalaphus. Maybe we can do like a Jusa or a Dora situation, and one could assume he's maybe a Scalaphus, but it's not 100% known, especially because if he was part nymph, then like Eurydice, he could die just like anyone else. So yeah, maybe I'll just leave it open to interpretation, but I like the idea of this guy having little wings and maybe even like I don't know, I could get like a beak shape going, something like that, or like this, and he could be a Scalaphus. Maybe I could make this shape so it's just got a little bit of a bird motif. Yeah, I'd love to hear what you think. And maybe he could be called like Callie or Escally, or, you know, or Fussy or something like that. Just to hint that he's maybe a Scalaphus. Well, I'm probably butchering that pronunciation with my horrible British accent. No, not Rob Human. Puns are fine. I didn't mean to make a pun. It's just, yeah. Misty Grey, I'm so mad that I'm going to turn you into an owl. I have something to... yeah, I'm so... Demeter, at some point, probably. Like a beak indent. Yes, something maybe that hints at a beak, but that being said, I am a big fan of just, like, big round face, maybe with just some wings. But I think it'd be cute to hint... Because Ascalaphus technically tried to do the right thing. And, you know, I mean, Hades retells a lot of the myth, which is fair, because they don't want Hades and Persephone's relationship to be non-consensual, and I think that's totally fine by me, and it's its own interpretation of a lot of stuff, changing up, like, who Eurydice is, all that jazz. So I'm not opposed to a reimagining. I'm just going to see if Ascalaphus has any associated iconography. I think it is just that he was the keeper of the garden, which kind of works here because I've coated, kind of like her mum, you know, who would be Persephone in this case, I've kind of coated her in flowers. Also, massive shout out to my friend Calvin, who is an absolute babe, who gave this great suggestion that if she's going to wear a long skirt, then because she has burning feet like Zagreus and Melano, that she's got like this eternal singeing to the edge of her dress. And I just said to him, like, when he mentioned it, I love you so much, that's such a great idea. These colours aren't set in stone, but they're just helping me get an idea of the colour balance. But yeah, just such a fun idea. This kind of very playful element to the design, I feel. So just such a fantastic idea, and I loved it so much, and he very graciously gave that to me. Which is lovely. Scallion could be cute, says Kenda. It could be good, Kenda. That's a good shout. Misty Grey Demeter is a mood. Yeah, I'm so mad I'm gonna turn you into an owl is just like... Well, and here's the thing, in certain versions she initially buries him, and then Heracles/Hercules, depending on how you pronounce it, or which, if you use the westernized version, like rolls the stone away. Ascalaphus gets out. And then Demeter is like, haha, you thought you got out. Now you're an owl. So either way, she's horrible. And then I think, if you believe the Persephone one, she's like, yo, I can't believe you told everyone. And then she takes some of the phlegethon, which is one of the rivers in the underworld, and sprinkles him with the water, and then he turns into an owl. So either way, like, Persephone and Demeter are clearly mother and daughter, because in either version, it's one of those two just ruining Ascalaphus's day. I'm just on the wiki now to see if there is no iconography. That's helpful. Oh, there's a great quote from Ovid here. Ovid says, so he became the vilest bird, a messenger of grief, the lazy owl, sad omen to mankind. Oh, Ascalaphus, you didn't do anything wrong, buddy. You're just a little guy. You're just a little guy, and look, you got all these nice flowers. You're so sweet. How could he? Hey, Ascalaphus, old chum. How could he do that to you? We stand Ascalaphus here. He's our friend. Yeah, I'm really attached to making him Ascalaphus now. I'm just worried it will I think if I do too much, it will overdo the design. So I'll just hint at it, and then if people are like, oh, that's not correct, it's like, no, it's just a reference to Ascalaphus. It's not actually him. But if I just give him little wings and she calls him like some nickname. We need to come up with a nickname in the same vein as like Dora or Juicer. That implies that it's Ascalaphus. Let me write the name Ascalaphus. And Ascalaphus. Oh god, I hope I'm not misspelling that. Ascalaphus. Can you say I'm not an owl like Hermione? I don't know the quote, but I can say it in a posh voice. I was like, I was going to sacrifice him. There we go. I just need to like trigger Hermione. Because there's that chess scene that's going viral at the minute. It's like, I'm not an owl. No, I can't do the voice. I can't do the voice. I tried and I failed. Oh, hey, Omega Yeti. Have a good time at work. Thank you so much for leaving a like. I appreciate you. So Solitaire says, Heracles, oh hi, Demeter. No. Yeah, that's basically it. Now the sad eyes are very fitting messenger of grief indoors, says Candid. Yeah, that's a good point. Now it kind of all ties it together. Scowl. Dan. Ascalaphus. Plus owl equals scowl. Yeah, scally. Yeah, Dan, Scally, Scowl. I was also thinking like fussy, but with like a PH. You know when people like have their like, oh, this is my little Shih Tzu, she's called Fussy, you know, and that sort of thing. But yeah, I'm kind of liking your guys' ones more. You could have Scally. Ah, oh, there's some good ones. I'm gonna have to have a little think. Some good ideas going here. Right, in the meantime, I'm just going to hide the wings. And I'm just going to... Sometimes I focus too much on the sketch layer. And that's my downfall, instead of just making it look good on the ink layer. But sometimes I'm like, why doesn't this look right? And then I realise it's a silhouette issue, where my sketch layer had the silhouette I was after. And to put it simply, my line art does not. So sometimes I just go back just to make sure I've got the silhouette. It's one of the reasons I chose this post over the others, is that everything was just a little bit clearer. I do want, because they imply that the shades wear robes. God, look at me, I can barely draw a line today. I'm just trying to get my smoothing settings correct. Something like that. I can always come back to it. Right, let's look at these wings. Where do I envision them? crank up this. Oh, a bit too high. Yeah, something like that. This is the kind of key pinion. That's the one that's going to kind of do the heavy lifting in terms of shape language, so I want to get that one down. And then this is like a cute little, or maybe we could even do it more like this. Let's see it without. God, I just can't seem to get it to work. There you go. And already it's just, ugh. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take the wings layer. I'm gonna go in and we're just gonna work with that. I think it's partly because I was playing around with my sensitivity settings earlier and I might have morphed it a little bit, so sorry about that, gang, in advance. Also, very fun, just exciting news in my life. I'm going to be adopting some cats, not this coming weekend, but the weekend after. They're going to be coming home to live with me. 2 black ones, because I cannot believe in this day and age that people still refuse to adopt black cats. Ridiculous. Their names are Noddy and Poppy, and they're very soon going to be coming to live with me. So if you are a Patreon member, do know that a portion of your very kind Patreon donation, directly or indirectly this month, will be going towards getting them a little something. I used to, so for those of you who don't know, which would be most of you, August last year, I lost my very good boy. His name was Daisy, even though he was a boy, which is fine by me. And I'd had him for 22 years. He was a very good cat and had him for a very long time. And my heart is ready to love again. So I'm going to be giving some other cats a nice new home. Sorry if it seems like I'm obsessing over this one bit. There's a few points in this design that need to be very balanced. The rest of it is, like you can see here, I just kind of scrungled it up on the plants because when you add some colour and from a distance it's less of an issue, but there's a few points that are going to be like, they could throw off the balance, so I'm just being extra, I'm giving them a little bit of extra attention, if you know what I mean. Maybe a second layer of feathers or something. And maybe like a cute little... nah, doesn't quite work. Right, let's get these hands in. Actually, no, let's finish this out because this is bugging me. I want this done. And then in true Hades style, let's get a lot of nice strong blacks in. One of the things I absolutely love is their strong use of blacks. So good. Oh, sleep tight, Misty Grey. Take care. I do like the owl ideas that are other things, but I do want to follow the naming conventions they've done with Medusa to Juicer, Pandora became Dora. Like, I still want the name to relate to the thing. Otherwise, he's just an owl. I do need, like, I definitely want the name to relate somehow to Escalathus. Juliaria says, I'm so happy you're adopting black cats. We always adopted black dogs growing up for the same reason. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. Yeah, it's important. It's important to give them a home. Their names are Noddy and Poppy, and they've not met each other yet, so we will see. But the cat charity I went through were like, these guys are the most, like, both of their natural reactions to danger are to run away or just like lie down. And we think they would both so benefit from a friend. So hopefully they can be friends to each other. I'm just getting some hands because I want to see how they do their hands. There is more variation in the Hades art style than I kind of initially anticipated. I do like how chunky everything is though. I'm just copy pasting a bunch of stuff. Bear with me. And there's that one. Cool. Let's see what we're working with. This one actually seems to be the most like what I'm after. Athena's hands. They're nice and chunky. Nice chunky hands. They're quite simple actually. I like that. I like that they're quite simple in their shape. We can work with that. I think colour will do wonders for this as well, in terms of legibility and some harsh shading. Like, the shading does an awful lot of the heavy lifting for this stuff, in terms of shape. And I'm giving her relatively big hands, so she's got a little bit of that kind of, I call it the Great Dane puppy thing. You know when kids are like, they're just starting to grow and their hands and feet get really big. But the rest of them's not kind of caught up yet. That's kind of what I'm going for here. I could always come back and tidy this up. I need to stop being so precious with it. And there's the pinky. Yeah, something like that. It's just got to pass what I call the across the room test. Does it look alright when you squint at it? And the answer is probably yes, and I can always come back and clean it. I've noticed that particularly on Zagreus, it's not actually like matte black, it's actually just a little scrungly. There's like little bits peeking through. You know, like these little white bits. So I'm doing a bit of that and seeing how it looks. And if I need to solidify it up in areas to make it look better, I can. But you can see like up here I've done some bits and pieces. Like maybe I'll highlight the edge of the finger there and then leave a little gap. Something like that. Just to hint at the... I could go whole hog. Nah, I'm not sure. Something like that. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do for now. Alright, let's get some smoother lines going for these outside sections. Right, let's see if I remember how feet work. It's going to be a momentous occasion, gang. We're going to see if I can actually remember what feet look like. I'm just going to do that very impressionistic way that they sometimes do things, where they're very shapy, but they're not necessarily realistic looking, and we'll see what we're left with. And if we hate it, that's where the delete button comes in. Just gonna... I can't count. Oh, that's not a good sign. Get some shapes. This isn't my actual me going in, even though I just said that's what I was about to do. This is me roughly working out where the things are going to go and then realizing it's at an angle, and these should all be more like that. Sorry, I've not checked the chat in a while. I will have a look in just a sec. I'm just trying to get these shapes in. I mean, they're going to be on fire, but when they have something bright and glowy in the Hades art style, it still has line art. I don't think I need to shade it as much because that'll help imply that they're glowing, but just gonna... yeah, maybe a bit more that way. Yeah. God, do I just ignore the feet for now? I might, and I might just do the dress. I'm afraid. I live in fear. Gee, this is going to be a fun bit because I did these, not realistic, but a little bit more scribbly, these frayed edges, but they go for very... sorry, I'm just adjusting my chair. They go for very dramatic shapes, so a little bit more like this, you know, or even that, and then that for like the burnt edges. Yeah, I kind of like that. That's what we're doing, gang. How far did I put it up in this? I did it up to like there. Okay. Let's... they do have some varying thickness, so let's go for like an 8. Yeah, something like that. Oh, and then it would be straight here because that is where the hem used to be. And then we'd have some of these. Then we'd have a straight bit here. Oh, I had it like down here. So maybe that's more like that. Oh, I had this really nice shape going on. Okay. And then I see a straight bit there. Right. I'm trying to... it's really fun trying to decipher what past you sketched in like a bizarre Hades frenzy while watching the gameplay preview. It's quite a magical experience. Right. Let's see what past me was trying to do. That's a great question. Let's get some of that. Yeah, and then... okay. Yeah, I can work with that. I can work with that. Some of these lines are coming out maybe a little thicker than intended, but I'm not gonna 100% adhere myself to the art style. And, you know, also it's really not that deep. I need to just have some more fun with it. I'm gonna just Something like this. This is feeling good. Do need to go even lighter on this though. There it is. Now I'm starting to feel it. You know what? I am gonna do a bigger loop here so I can do one of these. So these closer bits are going to be like cinders, like blackened, and then I think everything else around it would be burning. And hopefully that'll give the vibe that we're after. Unsurprisingly, I do not have many references for burning holes in fabrics from Hades. There's not a lot of that going on, unless I've missed something. Yeah, this is fun. I like that. I think that balances it out nicely. I can always go back once again and erase some stuff if I don't like it. I'm gonna have a quick peek at the chat. Sorry, I've abandoned you. How could I? If the top of his head is negotiable to be bald, Scalpy. Oh yeah, that'd be quite fun. Laphus. Probably Cal. Cal sounds pretty nice. Yeah, Cal could also be really good, actually. That's a very good point. You guys are so creative. I'm gonna have to, like, mull it over and see. I've been having very vivid dreams recently, so I'm gonna see if there's one that I, like, dream about. Candace says, might be better to have the hem more ashen and then glow more when moving quickly. Yeah, it could be the case. I think this would be like, I'm gonna try and mock up like a character portrait thing, you know, in the game where like they pop up and they're like, hello Zagreus, look, it's me. I'm gonna say something. But yeah, one thing I am gonna definitely do with her afterwards is I'm gonna add some, like, I'm gonna see how busy everything is and then maybe add some patterning to this hem of her dress, like her dear mama has here, and actually no, to be fair, Zagreus has it as well. Or see if we'll go more like dad route and just some little trim bits. Actually no, he's got some pretty decent trim here as well. But also, you know, just start adding, because they're so maximalist, I'm gonna see how busy it looks, and then there's loads of things on the table. There's let me turn off my smoothing real quick for some scribbles. So Zagreus has these little additional fronds on his laurel, which I think would also fit really nicely into Macaria having a lot of, like, there's lots of flowers associated with death, and the underworld is like full of life. In the game, to make it distinct, they had the Phlegethon be a magma river and Asphodel be like magmified, but originally it's just like fields, you know. So maybe even if she was in a game, maybe Macaria is trying to make Asphodel verdant again or something like that. That could be quite cute. But one other thing I'm definitely want to do is do lots of really beautiful like patterning on her arms, and like subtle color differences, almost tattoo looking, but almost more like engravings. Like, she's a god, her skin can just be like that. There's a few pieces of like Greek makeup for women that I'm also playing around with, but I will cross those, or as my friend would say, I will burn those bridges when I come to them. We'll see how it goes first. You know, things are subject to change. We will see what we do. This is just to give me an idea of green and orange more than anything, not necessarily set in stone color wise, but just to give me the vibes, you know. 1 second, the chat in OBS has stopped updating. Why are you being difficult? Ugh, that's annoying. That's alright, I will use a different method. 1 sec. Hi, Cool Turkey. They say first time catching the stream live. Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. You just missed a whole plethora of me just nattering away, so consider yourself lucky. I hate these hands. Sorry, gang, I'm getting rid of them. I hate them. Don't want them. I'm gonna come back to the hands later. But I do not like them. And that's okay. You can delete your art sometimes. And you're valid. Just absolutely do not like them. They looked bad. But we will go back and make them good, don't you worry. She says, ever hopeful. Right, I think what we're going to do next is I'm going to turn the smoothing. Yeah, that'll do. And I'm actually going to turn off the sketch layer because it's going to throw me for a loop. Right, it shouldn't be uniform across because of our perspective. And I also need to not be so precious with it. Trying to work out how thick it needs to be. Yeah, I think that'll balance it. That's one of the great things about these art pieces being so, like I said before, like maximalist, is that you can kind of just reassure yourself that if there's any empty bits later, you can just fill it with some filigree pattern, which I am a big fan of. I love drawing filigree. I don't know if you guys have all seen my video where I redesigned Ghost of Christmas Past, but if you've seen that, then you know how much I love drawing fancy decorative bits. Oh my god. Hey, it'd be really nice if I could draw if I could draw today. I'm gonna switch the angle up because I think I just have a curve bias, which I think we all do when we're drawing, whether you're right or left-handed. That's better. That's more what I wanted. And it will appear to have a slight thickness variation because the skirt is ruffled and forced perspective and all that. Okay, so it actually starts becoming more of an angle here, and I do like the change in shape there. I think that's nice. So I'm just gonna... Sometimes what I do is I do like 2 waypoints and then I try and transition between them. And that turned out quite nice. Okay, there we go. Let's add an extra one there. And now the fun bit, we're gonna erase these lines at the top. Just trim them. And also get rid of them around the singed points. It's been nice just to come on here and just, like I said before, like just fiddle-faddle around with something and know that the video doesn't require the most perfect like all-in-one speed draw. I can just have a video where I'm talking more about design philosophy, especially because recently, I mean, I think it's the nature of the beast when you have a video that does quite well, like my my Golden Bone one did, is that, I don't know, some people on the internet just feel they can comment about certain stuff, and it doesn't usually get to me, but when you have a good chunk of people doing it, it can get to you a little bit. I'll admit it. Nothing particularly mean, just I think people not realizing or being tactless, so people saying, hey, this is really cool, shame your channel didn't capitalize on that your viral video, shame you didn't post more, and it's like, oh, thank you, that means a lot, thank you so much. Bear with me, I am just gonna test this as a thinner. This is me just very quickly seeing if the thinner brush looks better. And then I'm squinting. And now, smarter is whether or not it looks better is to look at how they do it in the thing. I think they go for thinner. Do I want to do that? Do I want to do that? Do I want to redo it? What I'll do is I'll keep this, I'll call it pleats, and I'm going to keep it on a separate layer. Solo Solitaire says, from what I understand from the... sorry, I was just reading the chat. From the testing videos, Hades 2 is about fighting Kronos. Maybe Macaria could be in Hades 3. Yeah, it's something cute like that, yeah. So I think they've revealed more now, which is that when Macaria was young, or younger, spoilers, tune out for about 30 seconds, but this is the premise of the game in much the same way that Hades' premise was you're trying to fight out of the underworld. Melano, there's a slip of the tongue. Melano was rescued by Hecate, or Hecate, when Kronos basically invaded and took over the underworld. So it seems that Hades, potentially also Persephone and Zagreus, we don't know about them, are all trapped down there. And Melano's being trained up to go back down and take it back. That's the kind of general, that seems to be the premise at the minute. Which makes sense, because in the reveal trailer, I believe Apollo says, I can light your way down. So I think you're breaking in this time, basically, instead of breaking out, which is quite funny. I like that. Yeah, I'm just trying to work out how thin I want these pleats to be, and it's really bugging me for some reason, which is a sign to leave it, and I can always come back to it. There we go. Oh, would probably help if I... I'm wondering for those. Oh no, because then I'd have to tidy them up. I was wondering if I could copy paste these bits and then just tidy them. But then in that time I could probably just line art them. I feel like I need to keep things a little thinner because like her arms are good length and thickness, and I think some of these bits are getting a little too thick. You'll be potentially pleased to hear as well, there's no set finish time at the minute because I'm just started and it takes a long time to make these things, but I have Golden Bone, I would love to make an RPG at some point, but it's a long way off that. I kind of envision it being a longer form world building project. But people have said, you know, I've had lots of other ideas in the past, and people have mentioned, oh, when they found out I have DM'd D&D games and stuff like that, they've said, oh, I'd love to, you know, I bet some of your adventures are fun. You know, I'd love to see them and stuff like that. So I have started writing up some 5th edition supplementary bits and pieces, and hopefully maybe sometime this year if I can. I always underestimate how long these things will take, so let's say next year to be safe. I'm hoping to maybe take some, nothing huge, just to test the waters, but maybe some like adventure setting type, you know, like mini campaigns and stuff like that to Kickstarter. So watch this space. She says, failing to draw the same line a million times. There we go. So yeah, that will hopefully be appearing at some point. I hope so. I do enjoy writing this stuff. I just don't have enough time, you know, especially working a full-time job. And you know, I love what I do, but sometimes I'm like, you get home from work and you just don't want to do anything that feels like work, you know. Actually, I'm glad I didn't just bring this out now, because I'm adding some more like dimension to this ribbon. Not a good, too much of an arch to it. There we go. Honestly, you know what it is? It's because I'm zoomed in too much. There you go. It was literally because I was zoomed in too much. What am I like? Done. And then erase that bit.
Computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.
The Forlorn Knight says, hi, I can't stay but wanted to pop in and boost the algorithmic engagement. The Forlorn Knight, you are an absolute star. That's very kind of you. Thank you so much. Hopefully you'll be able to stay next time and I can shower you with more compliments. It's getting late and I'm exhausted, says Solo Solitaire. I'm going to go to bed. Thank you, friend. I'll catch you later. I'll catch you later. Good night. Sleep tight. Like I said, this is just a mini one, so we'll probably go for like another half, well, maybe, you know, we'll see how we go, but it won't be a super long one. It was just more a chance to kind of catch up and say hello to everyone. Also gives you guys a little sneak peek on what my next video is going to be about. I'll probably speak a lot more cogently when I'm not, you know, sleepy. Obviously, you don't have to, if you want to talk about whatever, I'm happy to. You don't even have to, if you have any questions that aren't necessarily stream related, I'm also really happy to do my best to answer them while I'm here. So if you do have anything like that, now's probably a good time to get it in. Or if you maybe asked a question on one of my videos, sometimes I get asked the same question about 5 or 6 times. I do plan to do like a proper Q&A for 50k subs, because we are, I can't believe I'm saying this, but we're actually getting to that time. I'm on 45 something at the minute, which is wow. Can't believe that. A friend of mine is saying I need to practice a bit more self-confidence in myself, and it's not that I 100% doubt myself, it's just I think artists are often their own worst critic, and so yeah, but I definitely need to compare myself to others less and just enjoy what I make, because I do enjoy what I make, and I enjoy hearing your guys' thoughts and seeing when it inspires you guys to make stuff. So that's what I'm leaning into, you know. Call me crazy, art's fun. It's why I don't get the obsession over AI, because like the fun is making the thing, surely. You don't, you know, you're not making it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being silly, but it doesn't personally appeal to me. The idea of something else. I don't know. If you guys commissioned me to make a piece of artwork, you wouldn't then say that you made it. You'd say you prompted me to make it. But I don't know, I'm just kind of rambling. Oh, and if you guys aren't subscribed to my Instagram, 1, understandable. 2, I did just get the cutest tardigrade plushie recently, and I am in love. Sorry for all the flipping. I'm trying to get a good angle on this. I also like to flip my canvas regularly. Someone asked me about that before, because we all have like, I think some people call it a directional bias. But basically, if you read and write one direction, your eyes tend to look more, they almost lean that way. And then if you flip the canvas horizontal, you will see some crazy differences. It's apparently why some, especially older school mangas and stuff like that, have some weird art stuff going on to our eyes, because the person who made it with just a Japanese market in mind. Nowadays, a lot of people tend to flip their canvases or make stuff with like a more international market in mind. But yeah, interesting stuff. Really cool thing I learned the other day as well is that apparently they think that one of the reasons that a lot of Middle Eastern languages go right to left, and a lot of more European languages and other languages go left to right, is because of how we would write. That if you were chiseling stuff in stone, which was a common method of writing in Middle Eastern, you know, Hebrew, Arabic, that sort of stuff, you would obviously hold the chisel with your left hand and then hit with your right, which would give you a slant from right to left, and so it would be easier to write right to left, whereas in more Western countries we write with our dominant hand. How do it was just black, I think, is how I rendered this. Maybe I'll just do it black for now, and then I can smooth out and tweak it. Sometimes I like just doing a big black shape and just kind of eating into it, if you know what I mean, like taking my eraser and getting just some like rim lighting going. It also helps a bit with the silhouette. I like how I'm just convincing myself of ways of doing stuff. Oh, sorry, I just saw the chat. Good night, 45.5k. Yeah, I know. It's going crazy. So can you take gold from someone's bones and steal their magic kitting? Says that review. You're fine, don't worry. I'd forgive you if you'd forgotten. It's all fine. But yes, I've been asked that quite a bit. I should do mundane stuff and not fun, says Cool Turkey. I 1000% agree. You know, in all these utopian visions of the future, we were like, you know, using AI to take care, you know, and artificial intelligence and robots to, you know, and all the sci-fi to like take care of all the mundane stuff so we can have like this really nice utopian thing where we're just doing art all the time. I am actually just going to take the skull from this and tidy it up because I like it as it is. One sec. And instead we're using it to replace all the fun stuff so we can continue to do mundane things. I mean, what's up with that? I know that's not a particularly fresh take. I know loads of people have said as much, but I am adding my voice to that chorus of people going, why? Sorry, excuse me? Hello? Funnily enough, I stopped using Instagram when they launched Meta AI. You know what? That is totally fair. I can completely get that. It's why I like that people are kind of going back to... and this isn't me doing some cringy, oh, everything was better in the old days, nothing like that, but I like that people are kind of going back to, I don't know, how things used to be in like that period of like 2010s internet where everyone would just have these little, everything wasn't centralized, people would just have these little lovingly handcrafted corners of the internet, where instead of it being curated by a company, it can be curated by a small group of people. I think it's why Tumblr is kind of suddenly coming back into fashion. Well, it's not that it never went out of fashion, but people who left Tumblr are kind of going back to Tumblr. Because you can have a kind of more just... It's got its flaws, but I know that people are just kind of glad to have a more small curated space. No, I like it without. And in fact... There we go. Cute. Cute, cute, cute. Like when I say AI, you know I mean, yeah, like true AI isn't really something we have, but yeah, people just kind of, I think people use their own terms for it now, and it's a contextual thing. If you want to get into semantics of it, we'd probably be here all night, but for those of you in the chat there, but you know, people know what we mean. It usually, let's be honest, half the time with modern quote unquote AI, it's just a lot of like, if statements. But that's okay. I mean, people know what you mean. It's like before the turn of the millennium, how everything super high tech had the term like 2000 just stuck onto it. Would be like, look, it's the thing 2000, and 2000 just kind of became synonymous with like cool high tech stuff. And now the buzzword is just to say that your thing has AI because it has some very basic algorithms attached to it. It's, you know, it's just how things go through cycles. Right, I have a bunch of beads. I have many beads. Now the way I actually did these beads before, I think, is my favorite way of doing it, which is you turn off your shape dynamics and then you do a little bit of this. In fact, I'm going to up the size even more. You give it one of these, and then you go in with your eraser tool, which I will also turn off the shape dynamics for. Good stuff. And then you know what? That looks pretty good. I will take it. I am very pleased that the weather is starting to warm up in my part of the world, though. It's still springtime, so every so often we're starting to get warmer weather and then a massive haily shower and then, you know, the same again. But it's getting there, and springtime where I live is just like that. You get torrential rain and hail, and then a beautiful, warm, sunny day the next with absolutely no, like, transition between the two of them. Okay, and then we're just gonna erase some bits. Cute. Nice. Down you go. Right, I'm going to turn on the smoothing for my eraser. Try and get this nice. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, we can work with that. And maybe just to be on the safe side, they do these really scrungly little shading lines. If I go down to like a 6. I'll leave it black for now. We can always go back to it. This bracer, however, is disgusting. It's not disgusting. It's just not quite how I want it. It needs to be thinner. I'll tidy it up in a sec. This is my kind of note to self. Sometimes I'll just scrungle something into existence and it's just to, that's a quote for the ages. Just to kind of remind me, oh yeah, clean this bit up. That sort of thing. That Rapuma says, yeah, but you're from the land where your ancestors worshipped the sun because of how rarely it showed up. Yeah, it's true. It's true. I had a friend who was visiting from Oregon and I sent her a video the summer before saying, hey, it's springtime. Oh no, it's summer. You know, July in the UK, and we had like horrible hail and rain, and I was like, oh boy. Seems about right. So I was just having a little drink. I just realized that was right into the microphone, and I hate all of those noises. I'm very sorry. Alright. I'm starting to really dig this though. I'm really looking forward to the bit I'm most looking forward to, which is when it's all technically finished, which is why I'm trying to scrungle my way through a bunch of this, and then I can start adding all the little details and silly bits, and that's the bit I am most looking forward to. We just gotta get there. Nice. There we go. I just love drawing like swoopy hair. And while I've been kind of scrungling at this and trying to get past some of my art block, I've been kind of mulling over the next Ornata. Well, it's Golden Bone video, but it's specifically going to be like a mini supplemental after the last video being like, how does this apply to Ornata? Great question. Here you go. I know the answers in my head, but it's just more about scripting them out, and I'd like to do at least, I probably won't do loads of pieces of art like last time. I'll probably do like one piece or a couple of, just, you know, one or two. But make them nice ones, you know. Not sure if to make this black, just all black. This is on a separate layer in case I mess it up. I always do a bunch of extra layers just in case. But I do love their black values, so I'm just trying to work out where I could maybe work some of that in. The way they use black and yeah, something like that would be quite nice. I'll kind of tidy that up a little, I think. But I like it. Schnauzer Wizard says, I'm new to the channel, so I don't know if you've answered this already, but what are you planning to do with this world-building masterpiece? Oh, masterpiece! Thank you so much. I would very much like to either write a book, or, well, write a book of either a novel variety, a TTRPG variety, or both, depending on how ambitious I'm feeling. That being said, what I'm kind of doing in the meantime, because it's going to be a while before we have enough pieces in play that I would feel, you know, the world building projects tend to be quite long form things. I was saying earlier in the stream, I've got some other bits and pieces in the works that kind of benefit Golden Bone twofold, because it gives me a chance to explore a few other areas and improve my skills. But it also lets me kind of research certain processes, so like doing a little Kickstarter could then be used to do a bigger one in the future and stuff like that. But totally fair question, don't worry at all. I've kind of answered it before, but I don't mind answering it again because it's not one that always crops up. So at the minute I am considering... I've got this book, well, little story, I don't want to say book, that I've been writing on and off a little bit, and I've got a friend who's going to be maybe beta reading some chapters for me, very kindly offered, in the future, and I'll probably be posting those maybe like chapter by chapter audiobook style and see how people get on with those. And just, yeah, I'm using smaller projects to test the waters for Golden Bone. It's a nice way of kind of doing two birds, one stone, of getting over my nerves about committing to a big project before I've done something like that before. But also like, I'm going to come back to this bit because this bit feels a bit weird. I definitely need some shading, but I don't like the shape of what I've done there, so I'm just going to leave that. It kind of, yeah, it lets me explore ideas I've wanted to explore for a while, but also stops me having the nerves of having never done it before when I do it on something big. That Rob Puma says, today's stream game, every time Finch says scrungle or some variation of it, take a drink. It's true, I've said fiddle faddle. Fiddle faddling is the name of the game today, but yeah, I love the word scrungle. It's just such a fun word. But also it is perfect to describe, it's kind of, I'm as much saying it for my own benefit, if I'm being honest, as anyone else is. I'm saying it to convince myself that this doesn't need to be perfect, because we all suffer from anxieties about our work, and I am no exception. And I'm just trying to get stuff down, because I know once I get stuff down, I'm fine. Once I get stuff down, I'm a happy camper. She says immediately hating it. No, that's alright. I come up with that. What I'm going to do is start throwing in these big blocks of black. I think that's really going to help the composition. I am going to do those on a separate layer though, so I don't mess this up. Let's turn the smoothing off. just because obviously I've been talking before about silhouettes. It's not just the silhouette of the whole shape, of the whole composition. There's shape, language, and silhouettes within the piece. And I want them to look nice. See, this is it's implied to be a skirt that kind of bends over, so we'll probably, once I've got this in place, I'll probably need to do like slow graduation of shadow, or I guess it would be kind of like that, because it's like the bent knee. We will see. I'm just gonna stick some shadow in there for now, and we will see what happens after. Jessie Crawford says, I didn't realise you've been streaming for so long. Oh, I'm sorry, Jessie. I'm so sorry. It's alright. You don't have to catch every single one. I'm not offended. I'm just sorry we didn't get to enjoy your company for longer, because it's always a treat. Cool Turkey says, smaller projects first sounds like a good idea. It also helps encourage engagement with the world. Yeah, sorry, I was just reading ahead and I didn't respond to that one. Yes, yeah, absolutely. I think even if it's just smaller projects unrelated to Golden Bone, but then obviously because I'm working on Golden Bone on the side, it will draw more traction, get more people in. It's great to have that engagement and that audience. I think it's unhealthy to chase that high of going viral that first time, because that was a fluke, not in the sense that I my work is bad or anything like that, but just because, you know, getting caught by the algorithm is kind of like winning the lottery. You can do everything right and it still doesn't happen for you. And it's why I don't like YouTubers who act like there's a guaranteed success plan that's going to make you big on YouTube, and I think that's unfair. So I'm not going to try and game the system too much, because I think I'll drive myself crazy. I'm just going to make fun things that I hope people enjoy. And yeah, we'll see how that works out. But I think it's also, when you start pursuing I guess growth for growth's sake in anything, you kind of lose sight of the fun of it. And my biggest point of fun is doing stuff like this, where we're all just kind of having a laugh and keeping it casual. And I think you'd lose some of that if you grew too fast and you didn't grow the right kind of audience and the right kind of people. It's why I've been very uncompromising on certain topics, because I think, well, I don't, you know, if you want to discuss certain things or whatever, sure, but on one of my streams, someone was like, why are these things gay? And I was like, whoa, you don't need to question that sort of thing. And in the recording of that live episode, someone said, I think you're being unfair and misrepresenting people who criticize homosexuality. And I was like, cool. And your comment's been deleted. That's I'm not in the mood for this. Not today, sir. Not today. I have gold skeletons to draw, I'll have you know. I do not have time for this. Jen says, hey Ritfinch, love your content. I'm trying to get into drawing and especially character building. Do you have tips for a beginner? Ooh, that's a broad question. This is going to sound so trite, but one of the things I love, and you can see me doing it this stream. God, I'm losing the plot. You can see me doing it this stream, where I'm literally, I don't mind kind of opening up that maybe slightly embarrassing process to you guys, which is me talking myself out of stuff. There's two versions of this, and I think they're both applicable, which is perfection is the enemy of progress, and perfection is the enemy of good. And both of them, for muchness, I have taught lots of students in the past where they make one sketch and they're like, this is now the thing that I must take from start to finish. And actually it's the student who has done like thousands, over, not immediately, but over years of little sketches and little life drawing things and all of that, who is much more willing to, as you hopefully see more with me, as I try and practice what I preach, get better at abandoning things that aren't working and just kind of slowly chipping away at stuff and improving. I think the way to start is to start, and you're going to fail a bunch, and then hopefully you stop failing, or you fail less. I don't think you ever stop failing. And failing's a harsh word, but, you know, by our own standards, we're like, oh, I messed up this bit, it sucks. And eventually you'll get to a point like me where you're just like, oh, that's not working, goodbye, out of my life, thank you. You do not serve me. Life drawing is essential, I'd say, even if you want to go cartoony. If you don't know what you're exaggerating, i.e. regular human proportions, it's not going to translate well in your work. So even if you want to do stylized life drawing, if you can. If you can't make a life drawing session in real life, totally fair. There's actually lots of online life drawing things that you can do, which I did a bunch of over lockdown, where you can set yourself like time limits. Yeah, there's so many different ways. I could ramble on forever, but I would say the only way to start is by starting. So start. Schnauzer Wizard says, thanks for answering my comment, and even though I've only discovered your channel yesterday and accidentally clicked on this live stream, I'm already super excited. Oh, well, you know what? I'm happy to have you, and I always love people who are just nice and ask questions. That's all I can ask for. Thinking of deleting things. The face does not adhere to the shape language I want, which was a little bit more cartoony, so I'm gonna come back to this guy later. And it may look good to your eyes, but I know what I'm after. I know what I want. I'm gonna just zoom out for a bit and just read the chat while I have a little sip of my drink. Oh, that's my chair creaking, apologies. Jessie says, yeah, but I want to watch every single one. I'm very sorry to hear that, but you know, I'm still glad you're here. Chasing the algo is healthy. Yeah, the algorithm gives them that take them away. Can we just light them on fire or something? Well, that's some banter to walk into. Oh, hey guys, Weird FTW in the chat. Very, very amazing person. Know them in real life. Go follow them on Twitch. Go give them your love. He is the subject of the video I did a while back on my channel where I drew him in a Hades style. Thinking of Weird, I still owe you that charity tombola thing. I'm very sorry. It is on my to-do list. It's like second or third on there, but it will get done. So I promise you that. Perfection is the enemy of progress is a new variation for me. I like it, says that Rob Human. Joey P says, hey there, awesome drawing so far, Britt. Oh, thank you, Joey P. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. But yes, hi says Weird FTW. Yes, absolute Jen. I still cannot believe how long we've known each other at this point. Is crazy. It's coming. Weird, can you believe it's coming up to 10 years? It's crazy. It is alright. Looks like you're up to all sorts of awesome presently. This is feeding my need for Hades 2 something fierce. Ah, you missed it earlier, Weird. I was just waxing lyrical about Hades 2. I am very, very excited about Hades 2. Yeah, very excited. Can't wait for it. 10, I feel, yeah, I know, crazy stuff. So when I say this guy's a real one, gang, I have 10 years behind me to prove it. He's an absolute gent. For context, we go to a board game club together, and I've not been in a few weeks because I've just been a bit under the weather, but hopefully I'll be back next week. That's my plan. Coming as an absolute shock and surprise to no one in the chat, I'm sure, that I like board games. Hoping early access comes sooner than some speculating, but happy to let Supergiant cook. Yeah, I agree. I think they do such a good job. And even if they'd never, I'm so glad they did a sequel, but even if they'd never done one and just worked on something new, what I appreciate is they clearly have a lot of passion for what they make, and I think that really carries through into their games. So if they hadn't had any ideas for Hades 2, I would have been still content if they'd have just, you know, made something else. But I'm very glad they've got ideas for a new game, because I do love it very much. Let's turn off smoothing. I'm just kind of, you'll have to forgive me, gang, if it gets a bit frustrating. I'm just currently playing around with some shadows. I don't have a specific plan for this bottle. So I'm just kind of seeing what sticks. Oh my god, I'm seeing what sticks. I made a very funny joke. I'm very funny. I'm a comedian. That's a lie. I'm not very funny. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't stop to consider the fact that if I've got this big shadow where the hand is, the rim of the bottle might get a little lost. So maybe I need to pull out one of the old, like, you know, maybe I'll do like a little one of these or something like that, you know, just to hint at the edge of it. Yeah, Board Game Buddies, didn't see that coming. Schnauzer Wizard says, about the perfectionist thing, it takes me hours to finish an art piece without colour, and I don't know if I love it or hate it, but by seeing what you've done, I should focus on making more art. Yeah, sure. And like, today it's been nice because the video I planned to make with the footage from this live stream and some stuff I filmed in my own time at home, the plan isn't to do like a clean speed painting video so much as this one's going to be one about me talking about, hopefully as a resource for some people, about the influences I took from both Greek folklore, real world stuff, and the Hades game, and how I incorporated it, and, you know, so I can just highlight little bits. And so I'm not putting any pressure on myself in this video. And that's one of the great things about just drawing a million things, is you don't need to put pressure on yourself. You can just enjoy it. Well, I hope you enjoy it. You should try to enjoy it. It's why at the minute, because when summer hits, I'll be able to work more fervently on like some more of the Golden Bone stuff and this charity promise I have for Weird, for his amazing, he does it every year. I think I mentioned it before to some of you guys who in the same circles as me on Discord, but Weird Blasters, which I also advertised on the channel. You know, I've got some stuff coming up, but in the meantime, if something isn't appealing to me, I'm just dropping it at the minute and just letting myself enjoy art so I don't burn myself out, you know? Because you can just drop something if you're not enjoying it. It's totally fair. Are your Settlers of Catan folks or Twilight Imperium folks? I would say both. Schnauzer Wizard, do not apologise that your comments are so long. I do not mind how long they are. They're not, you know, spam, and that's all I care about. And they're not heinous stuff like some people have been. Well, we've already discussed some weirdos have been leaving, so fine by me, my love. You, well, you literally coming on the stream of one of the worst offenders when it comes to rambling. I have no judgment here. This is a judgment-free zone. They already made a Radiant Gem, brave of them to delve further, but if anyone can, I'm glad it's them. Yeah, for sure. So I really am looking forward to the next game. Right, I do believe for a mini stream, this is starting to go on just a little bit, so I think if it's all right with you guys, we've just had a little bit of fun and we've talked a little bit of inspo. We've looked at some of my inspiration and some of my references, my weird skull gallery. I hope you like that. Sorry, I got the hiccups again. Gosh, what a day, what a palaver. But more than anything, it's just been really wonderful to catch up with you guys again and have a little talk and see how you all are. Some of you are doing better than others, and for those of you who are, maybe not so good at the minute, obviously I wish you well, and those of you who are doing very well, I'm so pleased to hear it. I'm just reading it. And me with Munchkin like a little devil. Yes, so every time Weird brings Munchkin to our board game group, the tradition is to start booing. And I feel bad every time we do it, but it's just become tradition at this point. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting this finished. I'm glad I just kind of started dropping sections, and I'm just reading the chat as I kind of save up here. Just to get things blocked out, and then I'll be able to start throwing colour down. These are kind of guideline colours, but I threw them down for composition purposes while I had blue line art, so it doesn't translate as well with black, so I'll probably have to up some of the contrast and saturation, but we will burn that bridge when we come to it. Thank you for letting us drop. Thank you for being here. And Weird, I'm so glad that you were able to pop in. It's always a treat to see you. We will have to catch up soon, IRL. And I will hopefully be able to put something out sooner rather than later. But yeah, it's always so nice when you guys are willing to stop by. And if you're one of the people who are now currently watching this on replay, you are still also valued, and thank you so much for tuning in. I always like to, because there's a bit of a delay, I always leave it with a little bit of awkward silence just so I can read any last messages. Yeah. Brilliant. Right, I'm going to just switch to the just arrived Thomas Baker. I'm so sorry, we're just about to stop the stream. Oh, I'm so sorry. Right, I'm gonna close up so we don't lure any more poor sailors to their doom. I'm gonna wish you all the best, and obviously if you do have the opportunity, you are much appreciated if you can obviously subscribe and all that jazz. Sorry, Thomas Baker, I was just reading your stuff again. Yes, better late than never. I'm so glad to have you here for these fleeting seconds. You are cherished. But yeah, or if you want to join us on the Patreon only Discord, it would be great to have you there. Right, I will wish all of you the best, and yeah, take care of yourselves.